Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and the initial rush for the iPhone 12 and 12 Pro pre-orders are over. Those started this morning, and it looks like they're already sold out in most places. So unless you ordered maybe at AT&T or a carrier store or maybe Best Buy or something, they may be completely sold out. And so they're getting pushed back to November. We'll see those a little bit later. But I wanted to talk about a couple things that people have been asking me regularly about the iPhone 12. And the first one is, if you've seen the iPhone 12, the event, there's a little notch on the side, or maybe a little opening or oval, and a lot of people wanted to know what that is. And so what that is apparently is a millimeter wave antenna for 5G. Now this is US only, and this has caused a little bit of controversy because a lot of people wonder, why is millimeter wave 5G only in the US? And we'll have to wait and see. I don't know the rollout around the world. Maybe it's a frequency thing. Maybe it's a carrier thing. It's hard to say, but right now it's fairly minimal, and I really wouldn't worry too much about that. Most of your speed is going to come from sub-6 or other frequencies of 5G. So really it's not much of a big deal, I think, for most areas, but that's what that little opening is. Now, another question people keep asking me has to do with the new MagSafe connector. Now, there's a new MagSafe charger. We saw those magnet rings in some earlier information and leaks, and those MagSafe rings apparently allow you to charge at 15 watts instead of 7.5. Now, some people were asking me, why on the website does it say that you can use it for iPhone 11 Pro? And to me, it looks like it's Qi compatible. So you wouldn't be able to snap it on the back of your iPhone 11 Pro or Pro Max, but you would be able to use it just by setting it down onto that device. So it seems like we'll be able to use MagSafe. It's about $40 for a wireless charger, which is about ballpark for more expensive ones, but it has those magnetic rings, and if you have a 12 with the magnets in the back or a 12 case, it will snap on there securely and then let you charge at a faster rate. So that's what MagSafe will allow you to do. A lot of people were asking me, why is it available for the 11 also? Now, the next thing is, a lot of you were disappointed that there was not a 120 Hertz ProMotion display. Now, the interesting thing about ProMotion, like on my iPad Pro that I have right here, is that it's able to ramp up refresh rates and then bring them back down based on need. This is really needed for battery saving, and they haven't brought that to this device, probably because they can't source the panel that they need to do this. A lot of those panels are used for things like the Galaxy Note, but not the S20, for example. And so what that means is maybe they just couldn't produce enough of them in the quantity that they need for such a huge rollout of phones. When you're producing 30 or 40 or 50 million phones, and Samsung also needs those displays, and other manufacturers want those displays, they just may not be able to produce enough of them. We'll have to wait and see if that's the actual reason, but at this time there can be problems if you use the traditional displays with everything from battery life to color accuracy to white point, white balance, all sorts of issues, and so that's probably why they stuck with it. And so I think we'll see some updated displays maybe with iPhone 13 or 12S or whatever comes next. Now, battery life for iPhone 12 has been one of the major questions that I get every single day. Is it going to be better? Is it going to be worse? Some early leaks said that it was going to be a lot better. At this time, Apple actually says on their website that it's the same. So if you compare on their website the 12 Pro Max with the 11 Pro Max, they give 12 hours for video playback as far as streamed video playback. Regular video playback, if you download maybe a movie from iTunes or Apple TV, you're talking 20 hours of video playback. And then also 80 hours of audio playback. They give the exact same numbers for the 11 Pro Max as they do for the 12 Pro Max. So it's yet to be seen how battery life really is, but you can bet that the A14 CPU that they announced is just as efficient, if not more so, with battery. Apple continually refines the battery in these devices to make them more and more efficient. So I really don't think it's going to be a problem for many, and they've done something really interesting with 5G. They have a data saver, and what it does is it looks at the actual bandwidth speeds, so maybe 4G in your area is giving you 20 megabits per second, but 5G will give you 40 or 100 or 1,000 depending where you are. It will switch to 5G as necessary. if there's no benefit to 5G, it actually just keeps it on 4G and saves you some battery life. We saw some of this early on with iPhones with 4G and with Android phones with 4G. Some of them were terrible on battery life, and then later on the chips became more and more efficient, and now we are here today with 10 to 12 hours of screen on time for many of our larger phones. So I think it's just a matter of time for it to get better, but it takes time, and I think Apple waited initially for that same thing. And that leads me to reception. Reception on these new phones should be much better because they have an all-new antenna design, likely new chipsets that are better for 5G, and they really pushed 5G over and over and over. And I think we're going to see some really better connectivity, better call quality, better cellular connections with data and everything else. I think it's going to be a huge leap compared to what we have in the 11 Pro and the 11 Pro Max. Now, they set up to 4 gigabits per second in ideal conditions with millimeter wave. That's really line of sight, probably standing with your phone pointed in the right direction, and then it would work. So we'll have to wait and see what it's really like, but I'm anxious to see how good it is, and I'll test it in the cities near me where we have millimeter wave and see if it's worth it. Now, of course, as someone who covers iOS updates regularly, many of you have been asking, where is iOS 14.1? Now, Apple oddly released iOS 14.1 GM to developers, and you can install it if you have a computer, but it's not out to the public yet. Usually what Apple does is they wait until the week before the iPhone launches. That means this coming Friday is when the next iPhone comes out, or iPhone 12, and so we'll probably see iOS 14 this coming week before then. We'll have it on our phones. We'll be able to install it just going to Settings, General, and Software Update. It will be there. You can install it, and then it would work just like any other update. But right now, there is no way to install it with a profile or anything like that. You'll just have to wait if you're not a developer, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Apple could change it again and push out a different version. So just be patient with that. I think Apple will push it out, if not today, later next week at some point, maybe Tuesday like they normally do, somewhere in the Tuesday-Wednesday timeframe. And so I'm looking forward to not only iPhone 12, I'm looking forward to 12 Pro Max. Now, one thing I thought was kind of interesting is a lot of people are waiting and didn't pre-order today for the iPhone 12 or 12 Pro. They're waiting for the 12 Mini or 12 Pro Max. And I think this year's lineup is really great. There's not a whole lot of compromises between them. You just get better cameras with the 12 Pro for the most part. And with that particular update, many people are thinking that they're going to hold off for a year before buying the next iPhone. But I did a poll on Twitter, and quite a few of you said, or 51% of you said you're not going to order one. So maybe a lot of you are just going to wait until the next year, see what Apple has, wait for a discount, and then 28% of you are waiting for the iPhone Mini or iPhone Max, or 12 Mini and 12 Pro Max. So it was really interesting to see that only 14% of you are buying the Pro and 7% are buying the 12. Now, the nice thing is the 12 and the 12 Pro have the exact same body size, meaning the cases fit on both. So if you buy a case for the 12, it will fit the 12 Pro and vice versa. So no more confusing cases, just buy one for the 12 unless you have the larger or smaller size. It will fit either one. So I thought that was really nice. And then other than that, iOS 14.2 Beta 3 has been out. I'll do a follow-up on that fairly soon, but iOS 14.2 may not be out until the Pro or Pro Max lineup, or maybe it'll come out before then. Apple has really been changing this up a lot, so we'll have to wait and see when it comes to that. Now, many of you have asked me to comment about the iPhones not coming with a charger this year, and it depends on who you are, whether or not this is a big deal. For me, it's not a big deal. I have a couple of different iPhones, as you've seen in my videos. I have chargers. It's not a problem. But for some, it may be a problem. And if you're a first-time iPhone buyer, even though you may be coming from Android, you'll still need a charger, and you'll have to pay for that charger a little bit extra. So I would like Apple to maybe include one for free. Check one if this is your iPhone or you need a new one. But I do think it's a benefit to reduce waste as well. So it's sort of a odd situation depending who you are. I think it's great environmentally, but it's also not great if you're a first-time iPhone user because you'll have to purchase that separately. So it depends who you are. For me, it's not a big deal, but for many, it's going to be a big deal. Of course, they reduced the price on those accessories by $10 as well, so that does help a little bit. And then finally, one of the odd things I thought with this entire thing is they still kept many different phones. So they have the iPhone SE second generation. They kept the XR and they kept the 11 and reduced the prices. So the SE is $399, with the XR $499, with the 11 $599, with the 12 Pro Mini, $699, and then all the way up to $1,500 for the top of the line 12 Pro Max with its maximum storage. So it's interesting that they're filling all of those. I thought they'd get rid of the XR for sure and just discount the 11, but we'll have to wait and see. Maybe they're selling a lot of them still, so we'll wait and see what they do with that. And of course, I'll have a follow-up on the iPhone XR, as many of you have asked for recently, so look for that pretty soon. And that's really it. I'm looking forward to iOS 14.1. As soon as I can get my hands on that iPhone, of course, I'll have an unboxing and a review after using it for a while to see what it's like, and comparisons and more. Now, if you'd like to get your hands on the wallpaper I'm using on my iPhone right now, I'll link it in the description below. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.